He couldn't help it. He started to laugh. And once he started, he couldn't stop. You're listening to Morning Edition on WESA 90.5 FM Pittsburgh, National Public Radio. Today, city sanitation workers are out on strike for the first time in... Greg Abimbola's right eye cracked open. There was sweat on his forehead, and his heart was thumping against his ribcage. He forced himself to take slow, easy breaths, staring into the distance until his brain attuned itself to reality. It was still dark. Winter wouldn't start spending its tight-fisted allowance of daylight for at least a couple of hours yet, and the inside of the apartment's dormer window was coated with ice. A cold one, then. He swung his legs out from under the duvet and sat on the edge of the bed, bare feet sinking into the carpet. After a moment or two, he padded into the living room, a loud yawn drowning out NPR's cheerful recitation of municipal discord. The living room was spotless, hard surfaces gleaming with polish, soft ones vacuumed to a showroom finish. Freshly painted walls hosted carefully curated fine art prints and several rows of books. Even though most of the furnishings remained the same, his landlord, more accustomed to Pitt students than neatniks, would have had difficulty recognizing it. The thought brought a smile to Greg's lips. This place, he reminded himself, was a real shithole. Except the word he used wasn't shithole. It was trushobe. English, you idiot. The word sank without force into the apartment's sloping wall ceiling. The apartment was at the top of the building, an undergrad-infested row house in the middle of Bloomfield. So, either word worked. There was nothing on the other side except battered slate and maybe some sleet. He could hear its gritty pitter-patter against the window pane. Retrieving a set of free weights from the landing outside his apartment door, Greg worked himself into a lather while NPR jabbered on in the background. Political gossip, natural disasters, whimsical human interest, all mixed together in the usual perky burble. He stopped listening almost immediately, concentrating on his aching arms and legs, making them work far harder than necessary. It was better than thinking. He managed to avoid any meaningful thought until after he was showered and ready for work. It was always the same, this moment when he stood in front of the bathroom mirror and pulled the patch over the top of his wrecked left eye. What if I hadn't climbed the stairs that night? What if I'd been a better son, a better Christian? What if I'd had a fucking spine and done what I should have done? And lastly, why didn't I just suck it up and let Palookin and Morozov get on with it? He stared hard at the mirror. With the patch on, he was still good-looking, dashing even. The jawline was still firm, the caramel skin smooth and unblemished. His one good eye was a bottomless dark brown, gleaming with apparent good humor, and if there were gray hairs speckled through the close-cropped black, they were still too few to see. If he'd been fully white, they'd have gathered around his temples and aged him 10 years at least. A wry smile. One for the plus column, then. He shrugged on a dark, knee-length coat and headed out. 7:30 a.m. EST. Greg stepped smartly up the broad steps to the main entrance, waving to the security camera as he did so. He was rewarded with a buzz and a click. The glass doors barring his way unlocked themselves. "Good morning, Mr. Abimbola. Warm enough for ya? Even colder than England, I bet." "Yes, but it's a dry cold." Stacy, the security lady, chuckled. Although she was her usual cheerful self, she was standing behind the front desk instead of sitting, and she was still wearing her outdoor gear, right down to the fleece-lined galoshes she'd used to stomp her way in from the bus stop. The faint reflection from a bank of TV monitors glimmered on the shiny quilting of her coat.